What is going on, everyone? Wow. Welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast. This is Abe, your host. I got a red mark right there. Well, I'm off today. Um, did some weed eating. I mowed yesterday. Actually, it ain't too dark in here. I have the lights off. Because today we're going to be talking about some spooky stuff. But yeah, just chilling. Did some weed eating. I try to make myself useful around the house. Probably gonna play some video games, chill, watch TV, enjoy my day off. So I did an episode the other day on Lamashtu, which is in association with Lilith. Like you guys know, a lot of these fallen angels, lowercase gods, a lot of them are interchangeable in the same, like Venus is Satan, well, Venus is Lucifer, all that jazz. So I'm not sure if we're gonna actually like create like a mini series. It may turn into kind of a mini series on different deities, but we've covered multiple different deities and fallen angels and stuff. Like we did an episode Lucifer, aka Prometheus, so go check that episode out if you want to learn about how Lucifer and Prometheus are the same deity. We did an episode on Lamashtu, go check that one out. And today, this one, we're going to be covering Belphegor. Belphagor. Belphegor. I was listening to the Tinfoil Hat. You guys know me. It's my favorite podcast. If you've never checked it out, go check it out. It's fucking awesome. It's honestly, in my opinion, it is the best conspiracy podcast out there, because Sam Tripoli, he always says, a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. So they'll talk about heavy, dark conspiracy shit, but because he's a comedian, you're laughing while talking about dark subject matter. And I think it's so fucking missing from our community. Everyone's very negative and everything's bad, everything's evil, everything's dark, very black-pilled. So I love certain podcasts, like Tinfoil Hat's a good one, Last Podcast on the Left. They're covering dark subject matter, but they're defanging it and making it fun and laughable. And it honestly, dude, I hope that I provide that with this channel. I hope that when you listen to it, you can loosen up and laugh, and it's okay, But yeah, today we're going to be... Oh, the reason why I brought Tinfoil Hat up was they had a guest on there. And this was a while back, because I was unemployed for a long period of time, and where I was unemployed, I wasn't listening to podcasts like I used to, because usually if I'm working, like I was a third shift stocker at Kroger, so while I was working, I'd be listening to podcasts. And then they took our phones away and shit. That's a whole nother fucking story. Needless to say, I'm very behind on podcasts. So I'm catching up to Sam Tripoli. So this is an older episode. If you're wanting to go check out that Tinfoil Hat episode, it's an older one. But they had a guest on. I can't recall who the guy was. He was a cool guest. I mean, the subject matter was dope, what they were talking about. Give me a second. I'm grabbing a burr. Cheers. It's my day off. I don't care. I'm not drinking as bad as I used to, so I don't want to hear people like, don't you have an alcohol problem? Yeah, but not like I used to. And I just don't care. I'm going to do what I want to do. So, fuck off. But this guy was talking about, he said every time you're sitting on the toilet and pooping with your phone, you are scrying to the demon Belphegor. And I'm like, what the fuck? I've never heard this shit. Like, I've heard the conspiracy that phones are black mirrors. We've talked about it on this channel before. Hell, I did a whole episode on scrying mirrors and how to make them, and it's basically a black mirror is a scrying mirror. I have a scrying mirror in my storage unit. If you guys know me, if you're longtime listeners, you know that I used to make occult items. I actually wanted to kind of do it as a side job, like making occult items and people can order them and shit. I need to do something for a side gig. But I've always said that cell phones and televisions are black mirrors. And using phones, which I'm recording on a phone, so I'm technically scrying right now. Using phones and watching TV, you are scrying. You are opening a portal to the spirit world. That doesn't seem so fucking mind-blowing or far-fetched to me. But I was listening to this guy. He's like, dude, if you are taking a shit and sitting on the toilet, you are giving an offering to the fallen angel demon. It looks like he's a prince. We're gonna get into it. A prince of hell. You are giving him an offering because he's the demon of shit, literally. He's depicted as sitting on a toilet. Okay, so we're gonna go into this article and some commentary, So, did you know you are honoring one of hell's 7 princes every time you use the toilet? Especially if you're on your phone because you're scrying to it. As if going to the bathroom wasn't stressful enough. Pooping at work, anyone? Now, yeah, so there's going to be a lot of shit talk, literally. So if that grosses you out, skip the episode, We're going to be talking about shit and feces and assholes and anuses and all sorts of nasty shit, I'm sure. As if going to the okay, blah, blah, blah. Now you can worry about sacrificing to a demon. Belphegor, one of hell's 7 princes, is the demon of sloth, so laziness, and of shit, excrement. Lighting a candle in his name apparently just wasn't enough. Belphegor comes from Baal, peor, so the god Baal. Belphegor is AKA Baal. If you guys know about Baal, he was worshipped. You hear a shit ton about Baal in the Old Testament. I knew about him growing up reading the Bible. I've read the Bible 6 times. My dad was a preacher. So Baal is not a good entity. People would sacrifice babies to Baal. Usually he was a golden calf, golden bull, with horns and shit. And you would put the baby inside of the mouth and sacrifice the baby to the god Baal, and basically it would I don't know why they would do it. I'm sure for like crops and harvest or something like that, but supposedly it would appease the god, and like you would burn the baby alive. It's horrible, dark shit. These are what the Phoenicians and ancient Jews were up to, man. Babylon, baby. So it comes from Baal Peor. Baal Peor, seen multiple times in the Old Testament as the gods of the Moabites. So we'll have to look into Moabites. What is and who were the Moabites? 333, make a wish. Hang on. Oh, I didn't make a wish quick enough. It's 3:34 now. So, hundreds of years later, just making sure it's recording, Baal Peor was Latinized into Belphegor and reappropriated into a demon to populate the Christian hell. A book of demonology from the 1800s got the ball rolling, and Belphegor soon developed an entire mythology of his own. only loosely based in biblical roots. Today, Belphegor is associated with Belphegor's prime, a prime number with 666 in the center, that is supposedly demonic. And of course, we know him as the demon of feces. So Belphegor prefers offerings of feces. So, okay, I have to say something, dude. And I'm going to catch a lot of heat for this. I don't give a fuck. Anytime you are offering something like shit or the life of something, that is not a good entity. And this is where I talk to Christians, and they've never seemed to be able to answer this, like, without it. Christianity, first of all, its roots are, like, pagan as fuck. I mean, y'all are just gonna have to get the fuck over that, dude. The roots of Christianity are pagan as fuck. It's sun worship and Saturn worship. Sun and Saturn worship. There's the argument that Saturn was a sun once upon a time. Who knows? I don't fucking know. I don't even know if this shit's flat or round. That being said, so Belphegor accepts an offering of shit, but Jehovah is no fucking better, dude. I remember reading the Old Testament as a kid and going, why does God want us to sacrifice lambs and burn them? And at least within the Sumerian text, the Sumerian gods literally said they enjoy the smell of burning flesh. Dark as fuck, dude. I don't know about you, but I've smelt burning flesh. That shit, no. That smells bad. So, right there, you are tapping into an entity that is not God. That is not God. I am sorry. This is why I'm not Christian. I am not going to worship Saturn, aka Jehovah, Yahweh. That is a god of war, a storm god of the ancient Jews who likes the smell of burning flesh. Dark fucking shit, dude. I'm sorry. I don't care if it pisses you off. I just don't care anymore, dude. It's dark. It's fucking weird. You're tapping into some negative shit. And people say, well, that's the Old Testament. The New Testament, it's Jesus. Jesus was cool. I like Jesus, unless the Septuagint is correct. If you listen and study Amon Hillman's work, Jesus was like a pedophile drug addict. Not cool with that. But even he says there's only one way to the Father through me. He was a worshiper of Jehovah Yahweh. Like, you guys are worshiping some negative shit. I'm just saying it. I don't give a fuck if it offends you. Anytime a god is asking for shit, like Belphegor, Belphegor, or Jehovah asking for burning lambs, that's creepy, weird, dark. You are tapping into some dark shit. That is literally black magic. And I'm an occultist. I'm a witch. So, like, I'm telling you, we look at that as black magic, as left-hand path, you know? But y'all do you, boo-boo. Some gods want virgins or lambs or goats. Some gods want excrement. Such is the case with Belphegor, whose preferred offerings is feces, shit, peor, as in the Hebrew root of Baal peor or Belphegor is usually translated as opening. So literally the god of holes, the god of opening. Like, kind of like Aleister Crowley, you know, he had this group called Agape, which is a gape. They're magic and witchcraft in the occult. There's so much sexuality in it. Like the eye of Horus is the anus, is what Aleister Crowley said. The eye of Venus, or the mouth of Venus, is the vagina. The eye of Horus is the anus. And he said that the anus was more powerful. And honestly, dude, I know it sounds gross, but you guys need to hear it. Blood, shit, semen, all of these bodily fluids are used in magic. for spells and shit. And shit. So it's peor, Belphegor is translated as the opening, the anus, like gaping. Rashi, a French rabbi who wrote commentary on the Old Testament, said peor was so named because before it they bared their anus and relieved themselves. This was the manner of its worship. Quite the visual image there, Rashi. Pretty much everything we know about Belphegor comes from an 1818 book, is what this says. And here's a picture of this deity, by the way, Belphegor. As you see, he is sitting on the toilet, holding up his tail while shitting, because he is the god of shit, the demon of shit. Belphegor wasn't always a meaningful demon, or even in forefront of anyone's mind, until Jacques Auguste Simon Colin de Plancy wrote Dictionnaire Infernal in 1818. So I'm guessing it's a book on demonology. In it, he only briefly mentioned Belphegor. 3 lines, that's it. However, he revised the text in 1863 and included the woodcut of Belphegor on a toilet as elegantly depicted here, which is what we just showed you guys. Every reference to Belphegor borrows heavily or blatantly plagiarizes de Plancy, who took what the Bible said about Moab and Baal, Belphegor, and tied it into other mythologies. So interesting. Belphegor's prime is associated with a mysterious manuscript. And here we have, I believe that is the Voynich manuscript, which is, dude, that is a whole nother fucking rabbit hole. We can do an episode on that, which I'm gonna, like, with my days off where I have computer access and it's not off the top of my dome or notes, I can actually do deep dives and shit and better content for you all. We'll have to do a whole episode on the Voynich manuscript, which is like this mysterious book written in a weird language nobody fucking knows about. They think it's about like herb green magic, you know, which would explain why it's a made up language, because as a witch you have to be secretive, especially back then, with what you're doing or what you're learning about or the knowledge you have, because the church was killing people back in the day. So they think it's like a geomancy tome. A grimoire. So, Belphegor's prime is not only a prime number, but also a palindrome. It begins with 1, and 666 is in the middle. So this is Belphegor's prime. I'll show it to you. But it's 1, 0. Hang on. This is Belphegor's prime. So this gets into numerology and shit. 1, 0, 0, 0. God, I'm not going to count all these fucking zeros. I'm guessing it's like 13 zeros, 666, 13 zeros, 01. This is where it gets weird and creepy, right? And y'all tell me if I'm just making like some weird connection here, but 10101 binary code. Does this remind you of like the Matrix code, simulation theory? There's a theory that all these AI are fallen angels. So, I mean, is he literally like, this is my barcode, this is my fucking code, my code? Like, I don't know, man. It's so fucking, I hate, like, I don't hate, but like, I'm not trying to like make stretches here, but I mean, are we getting into like AI, AKA fallen angels, binary code? You know, simulation theory. The symbol for this demonic number is an upside down pi, Pi. It's not so much the prime number itself is mysterious, but its symbol definitely is. It was first seen in the Voynich manuscript, which we're gonna do a whole. We need to do a whole fucking episode on that. Which is a large book written entirely in a code that appears to be one of a kind and has kept historians and scientists stumped for years. It includes astrology, plants, naked women, nice, and plenty of other weirdness. The 600-year-old tome is understood by absolutely no one. Even the most elite Voynich scholars don't even know what language it is written in, before it was put into a cipher. And recent attempts to crack the code using artificial intelligence haven't worked. So not even AI can figure out the Voynich manuscript. We're gonna have to, dude. This is why I love my job as a conspiracy podcaster, because like I can't wait to do a whole episode on the Voynich manuscript. Let me know in the comments if you guys want to hear more into that. I didn't know Belphegor was mentioned in it, so that's interesting. And like I said, dude, I've said this 1,000 times. Like, conspiracy is a web. Everything connects. So, of the 7 deadly sins, he is usually sloth, is what this is saying. So, laziness. Literally shitting and sitting on a toilet. He's lazy. And he is Baal peor. He's the demon of sloth. Though Belphegor has taken many forms throughout history and being associated with many different sins, he is most often seen as the demon of sloth. This could mean that he tempts mankind to be lazy. But one church father, Thomas Aquinas, luckily you ain't Aquino, Michael Aquino. Thomas Aquinas felt that sloth was the root of their sins as well. Ignorance, in Aquinas' mind, was a result of laziness. Belphegor came to Earth in the first place for a strangely simple reason. Interesting. Though he may be a fearsome demon and one of the 7 princes of hell, Belphegor originally came to Earth for a simple and somewhat bucolic, what the fuck is that word, reason. Hades sent Belphegor up from hell. So we're getting into Greek mythology. This is why I told you guys, man, the fallen angels are the old gods, in my opinion. A lot of them. Hades sent from hell to learn if married happiness was a real thing. That's funny. Yes, married happiness is a real thing. I'm happily married myself. It's rare. It's hard to find. Don't give up if you're single out there. But married happiness is a legit thing. My wife is my best friend. My wife is fucking awesome. I love her to death, dude. I love her so much, I wish there was another word for love. Yes, the Prince of Hell and Guardian of Sloth simply wanted to know if people could be happily married, which they can. The demons in hell had heard that married happiness was possible, but knowing what they did about the dark side of human nature, it seemed rather unlikely to them. So they're like black-pilled, essentially. So Hades sent Belphegor up to our plane of existence, I guess, to see if happy marriedness was possible. Happy married. Yeah, like married happiness is possible. I can speak English. and I'm not drunk. I've only had like 1 beer. And perhaps not surprisingly, Belphegor discovered that no, married happiness was not a real thing. It was only a rumor. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I know it's just a myth and it's just a legend or tale, but married happiness is a real fucking thing. And I don't put up with that black-pilled shit on my channel. You guys know me. Like, if you're happily married, hit me up in the comments, man, because I am. It is possible, dude. You know, we gotta have some fucking hope, and I've always been a romantic personally. Um, Belphegor comes from Baal Peor in the Bible. And there's an ad right in front of me, which I can't fucking exit out of. The Moabites worshipped Baal Peor, which eventually became the name Belphegor. 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 Bel. Like Beltane is the worship of like Baal. It's a Baal holiday. Beltane. Baal became Bel to like the ancient Celts and shit. I do know that much from studying Celtic mythology because I'm Irish, you know. There is a huge connection with ancient Ireland and Egypt, surprisingly. It gets into alternative theory, alternative history, not alternative theory, but alternative history, and yeah. The Egyptians, I mean, Scotland is named after Princess Scotia, which was an Egyptian pharaoh, or Egyptian pharaoh's wife, you know. So a queen of Egypt, you know. And she's buried in Scotland. And you don't hear this shit in your history books, you know, the connections. This is why I believe in the Atlantis theory, that we were all over the place. Everyone was everywhere all at once in ancient times. We were traveling around with boats and shit. Like, I'm an American, and our American history is so jacked with the whole Christopher Columbus story and Native Americans. Like, people think Mormons are crazy, but when you actually start reading the Book of Mormon, you're kind of like, I could see the Native Americans maybe being like ancient Jews who had boats and traveled over here. Like, it doesn't sound that fucking far-fetched when you get into alternative theory or history and shit. I don't know why I keep wanting to call it theory, but the Moabites worshipped Baal Peor, which became Belphegor, and he is mentioned several times in the Bible. In the book of Numbers, the Israelites copulated with Moabite women and sacrificed to Baal Peor. So, I mean, usually, if that pussy's that good, it can convert. I almost became a Mormon back in the day because I was seeing these sexy ass fucking Mormon girls going in and out of my neighbor's apartment right next to me because I was in a duplex, and they lived in the house next to me on both sides, and I'm like, dude, multiple wives. I've always been interested in like Freemasonry. I'm like, I could join this cult. This sounds kind of cool. Can you imagine having like, I don't know, dude, like 3 chicks, man, like one eating your butt, one sucking on your balls, one sucking your dick, like just 3 bitches, man. Like, fuck yeah, dude. I'm sorry, I'm just kidding, I'm just joking. I told you I was happily married. Fuck, man, sorry. But resulting in Moses ordering that 24,000 of them to be killed. Hosea 9:10 says, they came to Baal Peor and devoted themselves to shame, and they became as detestable as that which they loved, which would be shit. He's basically calling them shit, man. Belphegor has been depicted in several different ways. So, Belphegor has been depicted in several different ways throughout history. Sometimes he is even shown as a young girl or naked woman. So he's a shapeshifter. Which this is one depiction of Belphegor, I'm guessing. Let me show you guys this. The artwork's actually fucking dope. I could see me hanging that on my wall. It looks cool as fuck. I like weird shit. So he can shapeshift into a naked, beautiful woman. Or young girl. It's pedophilic. Belphegor has often been depicted in masculine symbols like a phallus, a cone, a pillar, so an obelisk. Dick worship. Or a tree branch, which if you're familiar with occultism, like me, phallic worship the wands and tarot. But he's also been shown as more of a classic demon with a beard, horns, and talons. Belphegor literally means Lord of the Opening. Belphegor, which means Lord of the Opening, when translated from Hebrew, Baal, Lord, peor, opening, so gape, is sometimes seen with his mouth wide open. Some also translate it from phegor, meaning crevice or split. So all about that anal worship shit, you know, shit. This translation makes sense considering that Belphegor was worshipped in caves, so openings, Mother Earth's crevices. Those who presented offerings to him would throw them through a hole in a cave. It's not clear if anyone was throwing offers of excrement or not. Some DNA testing would be cool, like some actual archaeology, to see if those like offering places of Belphegor, if DNA is a legit thing, like DNA testing. I don't know. I mean, I wear a tinfoil hat just like you guys. I don't fucking know about anything anymore, dude. You know, I question nuclear bombs and shit. I question whether the earth is flat or round. I don't know shit. But it would be cool to see maybe modern archaeologists like take samples of these holes in the walls that they used to offer to offerings to Belphegor to see if it was human excrement. Just, I'm curious about it. You know, were they throwing shit in these holes? But there's the demon Belphegor. Are you guys giving an offering to Belphegor by sitting on the toilet and using your phone at the same time? I don't know. There's a little extra paranoia in your tinfoil hat brain. You're welcome. I love you all. We'll do deeper dives on demons and fallen angels and shit. I want to do one on Pazuzu, so stay tuned. There's more to come. I love you all. Have a good day.